Hi, very good evening. I'm Vijay Jha and I welcome you to Gradeup. How are you doing? We started the conclave today at 5 in the evening, and this is the second session. And immediately after that, we are going to host Mr. Chetan Bhagat. But anyway, we shall get to see Chetan at 7. Here in this particular session, we have someone very special. Is Emon Goswami. Emon Goswami graduated from Ramjas College of University of Delhi. He did his BA honors in economics, and immediately after that, without any work experience, he landed there at IIM Lucknow. And then after, he worked in the corporate for almost 10 years and decided to do his second MBA from IMD Switzerland. So please join me in welcoming Emon Goswami. Hi, Emon. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
Doing quite good. Thank you. And thanks for coming on our platform. Emon, let's start with your formative years, your school, college, everything, whatever you wish to share with us.
Sure. So I'm from Assam. I grew up here, did all my schooling here, then went to Delhi University, as you already said, spent wonderful 3 years there. That's where I met you as well. Then went to IIM Lucknow, again, had 2 wonderful years there, then worked for close to almost 10 years, mostly in banking, and then had, I don't know, I would like to call it a moment of inspiration, but some people may call it something else. Then decided to leave everything and then study again, and just finished my MBA from IMD last month, and here I am talking to you.
Okay, all right. So you talked about University of Delhi, but before that, you didn't talk about your school days. Did you do your schooling from Guwahati?
Yes, I did my schooling from Guwahati, so up to class 12, all in Guwahati.
All right. And when you came to Delhi, was there any problem in adjusting with the culture here?
Actually, no. I mean, it was my first time living out of home. I was out of 18 years old, first time living away from my family. So it was very exciting. Of course, and I had already had friends there who were from the same school, so did not have too much of trouble adjusting to the place and had a lot of fun there.
All right. And why economics honors? Did you have this clarity that ultimately you wanted to go for a career in MBA management?
Not really. I think when I was still in my 12th standard, I really wanted to be a doctor. And I had a lot of clarity that I wanted to be a doctor. Unfortunately, I appeared for medical entrances. I appeared for engineering entrances, both. I just wanted engineering as a backup option as well. Unfortunately, I could not make it as a doctor. I did not clear the entrance in the first go. However, I did get into a few NITs, but then I did not think that engineering was something that I wanted to do. And then I knew someone, from the extended family who had just gone to Delhi University the year before and was doing economics. I spoke to them and it sort of made sense to me and just landed up there. And I think it worked out well for me.
But many people in a family would have contested this decision of joining economics honors at cost of a seat in 2 NITs?
Actually, no. I think my family that way has been fairly supportive of whatever I have ever always wanted to do. Very, very fortunate that way. And they're like, yeah, do what you think is best for you. And I did that.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So University of Delhi, Ramjas College, economics honors. Okay. When did you think about appearing for CAT?
This was in my second year of my graduation. So I had just finished first year. I had done, I think, reasonably well. And then me and a friend of mine, we were just trying to think of what will we do next once we graduate, in 2 years from then. And the options that we saw in front of us were either we continue in the stream that we were in and go ahead and do a master's, or try and see if we could do an MBA. And I remember talking to a lot of people before I made this decision, and I went to places like CL Career Launcher, Time, to talk to students who were studying there, and also the branch managers to just see that what sort of thing an MBA is. that's when I sort of gathered a lot of information about it, talked to my professors in Ramjas as well. They also helped me a lot when it came to continuing in the stream of economics. Between the two, it seemed to me that MBA was a little more exciting for me, and that's when I decided to go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay, all right. And you ultimately made it to the IIMs in a very first attempt and landed there at IIM Lucknow without any work experience. Now, when you look at it from the hindsight, you think that people should go for an MBA after some work experience, or was that okay?
If you ask me, I think you get the most value out of an MBA when you have already worked. And I say this for a few reasons. The primary reason being that when you have not worked, there are two aspects to it. One is that you have most likely then not worked so much with other people unless you have been heavily involved in extracurriculars or you have been involved in some community activities, which is a very different story. If you have not, and if you have also not worked, then what happens is that you have not worked so much with other people in teams. And that becomes a little bit of a hindrance when you start to do your MBA, where a lot of activities are based on teams. So that is the first one. So somebody with WorkX already has an advantage on you when you go to an MBA. The second is when you have not worked in the corporate world, you also do not know a lot of options when it comes to post-MBA jobs. For me, I come from a family where almost everyone works in the government in some form or the other. So my entire understanding of what could be my post-MBA options when I went to IIM was based on my learnings in those 2 years, either from my seniors in the MBA or from my batchmates or from my professors or from some alumni. So it was not, I would say, the most ideal condition in which you land up to do an MBA degree. So that's why I think it is useful if you have some sort of work experience. However, I would say that it is not completely, irrational to do it even without work experience, because as I said, these are two aspects where you would be lacking, but then you can make up for these gaps through other means. You can read up. Of course, when I went to do my MBA, the internet was not what it is right now, and the level of information you have right now is very, very different from what I had back then. So now I think if somebody is going there without WorkX, I think they will be able to gather much more information of what sort of jobs they can look at post their MBA and stuff like that.
There is a problem there, Emon. And in fact, first of all, IIMs, they admit almost 1/3 of the students who are freshers. Okay,
right.
They must be having their own reasons, because mostly business schools, and I'm sure IMD is also not an exception, they hardly take anyone without any work experience, right? The thing is that here in Indian education, let's say you graduate, if you're not from probably some 40, 50 colleges, right, be it engineering or non-engineering, it becomes very difficult for you to get a relevant job. Okay, even if you look at University of Delhi, what % of students they get any working opportunity? All right, so which is why many of them, they consider joining an MBA immediately after the graduation, because they say that without a relevant work experience, probably you cannot get the maximum out of MBA, but from where will you get the relevant work experience?
No, it's very true. It's very true. Like, for example, in my case, I did have a job when I was graduating from Ramjas, but it was not the job that I wanted. And for me, it was very true what you were saying, that the aspirations for me were very different from what I was getting at that point of time, and MBA seemed to make a lot of sense to get to those aspirations. So it is true, and I think that's a problem which I think has started to get solved to some extent now. When I was graduating in Ramjas College, I think very few of us, when we graduated, started working, and I think only 1 or 2 did jobs which were like very decent jobs. Otherwise, most of us, did jobs which ideally you would not want to start doing those jobs. So, but I think now I see a lot of graduates from Ramjas or from other DU colleges as well, and of course, engineering has always held true, who do get into the corporate world and get into analyst roles in, say, consulting firms like the Big Four Consulting, or will get into analyst roles in banks even. So I think that has started to change a bit, but you were right. It still is maybe true for the top few colleges in the country and is not true for the larger set. But I guess that will change over a course of time, and that has already started changing. I guess that will change more over a course of time.
Okay, all right. Let me take back you to year 2006. Okay, 14 years back. Okay.
Right.
You carry your current wisdom to the past. Okay.
Right.
You are in the final year of your economics honors at Ramjas College, University of Delhi. Okay.
Right.
What would you do? Would you still appear for CAT?
Well, I think if I know what I know now, no, I would not. If I know what I know now, I think I would just go ahead and work. And but I would also
where will you get a relevant opportunity?
I think so. As I said, I did have a job at that point of time from one of the big tech companies. It was not the job which I wanted, but then it was still a job, right? So I think I would have still taken that job up. And now, with the knowledge that I have now, I also see that there were other opportunities at that time as well, which I was just not aware of because my sources of information at that point were very, very limited. So I think I would still sort of go ahead and work, maybe take up that job which I had or do something else, but also not wait for so long to do an MBA as I did now, and maybe do an MBA with around 5-6 years of experience. I think that would be like the ideal time for me personally.
Okay, all right. Let me take up a few questions from the viewers.
Sure.
Karthik is saying I have 2 years of work experience now. By 2022, it will be 3 years. Is this the ideal case for pursuing an MBA? That is Karthik, and he has posed this question to you, Emon.
I think it's a very personal question. I don't know his personal life circumstances to really comment. I can give a very generic answer, and I think that is that if you are doing an MBA from India, and I think 2-3 years of experience is more than I think it's what generally people do. So I guess from that general benchmarking perspective, it makes sense. Of course, as I said again, doing an MBA, what time is right is depends on a lot of things, on a lot of personal circumstances. So I would not be able to comment exactly on his case.
Okay, most of the Indian B schools consider 3 years as the most ideal duration of work experience because that is when they give you the maximum point. So if it is below 3 years, you get less. If it is more than 3 years, you get less points. Okay, exactly at 36 months, many IIMs, right, some other institutes also, they reward you if you have exactly 3 years of work experience. But anyway, that is how it is.
I think when I was appearing for CAT and getting into the IIMs, we did not have this criteria. I think it must have been introduced later.
Or at least it was not known then, right? We have lots of information available in public domain now.
Maybe.
The system used to be very opaque those days. I hope you remember.
Yeah. No, I remember reading the IIM Bangalore application. It very clearly stated their criteria. I think the rest of the IIMs, they were not very clear, not very transparent. IIM Bangalore was very transparent. And they had this system where they were giving weightage to your CAT scores, your grades in your graduation, your grades in your high school. And I think they did not have work as a criteria, if I remember correctly. But I think now it must have changed. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. Let me take a few more questions. Shayan is asking, what if someone does not have any work experience and doing MBA? Is it a totally no-no?
No, I mean, I did that, right? I think I did okay after that. So I think it's okay. I mean, it is, I would say it is not the most ideal based on whatever I have seen over the past decade or so after doing my MBA. But I mean, it's still not like it's the end of the world.
Okay, but not many people would be in your position to comment on this, and I have my reason because you are someone who has done MBA without any work experience, and then you did MBA with 10 years of work experience. Okay,
yeah,
so that is very interesting about you.
I think I'm at the two extremes here, right? So yeah, I think, and that is why I said it's very personal, when you do what in life. I mean, it depends on a lot of things. So for me, as I said, I did the first one without any experience. It was a different experience for me altogether at IIM as compared to what I had at IMD. So I would not say it's a no-no, but I think ideal, no, not ideal.
Okay, all right. Now, Anupriya is asking, I'm a third year agriculture student, can you please tell me about FABM course from an IIM?